Did the Isle of Armour DLC save Pokemon Sword and Shield? Well, let's find out. I'll be presenting the positives first, then the negatives. A quick clarification, I have finished the story of the DLC, found all Digletts, a few Pokemon off from completing the DLC's Pokédex, and put in around 14 hours into the DLC. If you're a bit confused on what I think about the base games, check out the other video I made on what I think to be the actual biggest problems in Sword and Shield. Alright, let's get right into this. So the thing I enjoyed most from this DLC was the island itself. Honestly, when I first walked out of the train station and saw the ocean and the massive Wailord, I just stopped and stared at what was to come. It got me quite excited. Now yes, some of the visuals can be improved, but a handful of areas honestly look nice. Also, I know some people don't like how much water there is spanning the map, but personally, I think it's appropriate for the island setting. And if you're wondering, yes, the trees are fixed. Well, they're definitely better than the trees in the base game at least, but still, it was nice seeing an acceptable improvement to the trees and some other visuals. I also really liked the whole dojo training theme. It really helped improve the overall feel of an island challenge. Some other things I appreciate were the whole map being one big wild area with a controllable camera, with only a few loading screens for buildings. Also, the extra Pokemon added, which you don't need to buy the DLC to obtain from trading or transferring from Pokemon Home, but you can't catch them. A very basic and linear upgradable dojo was included, and finally, there are Digletts scattered around the map as collectibles. Alright, let's go into the negatives. 2 new Galarian forms. That's it. Come on, Game Freak. I know more are coming in the second DLC, but I just expected more than 2. I don't know, maybe false expectations on my part, but anyway, continuing. The island setting wasn't really taken advantage of gameplay-wise. Whether on land or water, the gameplay doesn't change. It's always the same encounter and catch formula. I mean, it's really cool seeing a Sharpedo in the distance chasing you down for the first time, but after the initial catch for the Dex entry, there's no reason to catch or battle these Pokemon again. Since you're not making new Galarian forms or new Pokemon, create fun and interesting methods of catching the old ones. For example, instead of spawning thousands of Sharpedos, make us use a special lure that's a rare floor pickup item that spawns only one. Or more creatively, make an underwater area for the map with dungeons and puzzles that hold rare Pokemon, similar to Ruby and Sapphire. And instead of just placing a big Wailord on the map, make it a mini-boss at the final level of the underwater dungeon, except give it some good stats or even make it shiny. Now again, these are just 2-minute on the toilet ideas, but there is so much you can do with this setting gameplay wise. But instead, it's just the same encountering and catching. I don't want to see thousands of the same Pokemon I just caught, because there's no point, especially since it's so easy to level up with EXP candies. As well as old Pokemon having the same models and animations since X and Y in 2013, with only slight texture upgrades. The other missed opportunity was in the story mode. Now, it's not the actual story that's the problem, rather what the player does in it. The story follows a basic pattern of 3 parts. In the first part, after completing a few challenges, you receive Kubfu. In the second part, you choose one of the 2 towers to evolve Kubfu, and in the final part, it focuses on unlocking the Gigantamax form of Urshifu. Now the biggest problem with the story mode is that it focuses on Kubfu as your new, exciting partner, without giving any incentive to the players to actually use it in the island challenges, except for one part of the story. I like the idea of only being allowed to use Kubfu in the 2 Towers Evolution challenge, but why not impose a similar restriction to the entire course of the DLC? Restrict our ability to use any of our previously obtained Pokemon, items, and EXP candy in general, and force us to start fresh with Kubfu as our starter. This system would work even better if they introduced more than just 2 new Galarian forms, as it would entice players to actually use the new available Pokemon. Otherwise, most players, like I did, we'll just use our teams of level 100 Pokemon from the base game throughout the story DLC, while power leveling Kubfu with EXP candies just for the 2 Towers challenge. Alright, now for some smaller nitpicks. They reintroduced the system where Pokemon follow you around, but the Pokemon sort of catch up too fast, or not at all sometimes. They added this system for water-type Pokemon as well. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's cool how some water-type Pokemon swim with you, but there isn't an instance where they can alternate between land and water very smoothly, and in some cases, not at all. Golduck, known as the fastest swimmer. This Pokemon lives in lakes. It is faster than any recorded human swimmer. Also, some Pokemon are still not scaled to their proper size, and for whatever reason, the inside of the main dojo does not have a battle arena, so instead they just used this white background. But again, just some small nitpicks, not the most important things. In conclusion, this DLC just adds more to what was already there in Sword and Shield, but in an island setting. It improves on some unpolished textures from the main game, has a great island atmosphere, but overall fails to deliver anything drastically different that's worth half of the $45 season pass. A lot of missed creative opportunities to really spice up the Pokemon experience. So in my opinion, this half of the season pass alone does not save Sword and Shield gameplay wise. However, it does increase the amount of hours you can play the game after finishing the main story, but of course, locked behind a paywall. So if you found the core elements of Sword and Shield fun and want more single player content or more online battle options, then this DLC is most likely for you. But if you want a unique single player Pokemon experience, then I believe this DLC is not for you. So thanks for watching everyone. But before I leave, I know I always mention that Pokemon should improve their gameplay without really explaining how. So I will be making a video on the top features I think they should implement to improve the overall gameplay experience. Also, so far I've only posted videos on Pokemon, but I will be branching out to some other games I want to talk about in the near future. But until then, this has been the Hero of Sinnoh. Thanks for watching.